We have got to talk about this next story. And it doesn't matter if you are a Swiftie or not, this is important. This person says, my husband ruined my Eras Tour experience. She says, a few weeks back, I attended the Eras Tour with my husband. My original plan was to go with friends who would have appreciated the tour more. My husband initially said that concerts are a waste of time and money, and he had no interest in going, but at the last minute insisted that he wanted to go with me, so I bought us both tickets. A few days before the actual concert, he wouldn't let me get excited about it. I wanted to go all out, dress up, get friendship bracelets. He wasn't supportive of this and even told me to keep quiet while I was excitedly shopping at the mall and said I was embarrassing him. I ended up wearing nothing sparkly and I didn't have a single bracelet. On the actual concert day, he threw a tantrum at home and in public. There was a lot of shouting. I told him I refused to go with him anymore in case he ruined the experience. That made him even more angry, and he started giving me all sorts of threats. For my safety, I ended up going with him. I was determined to enjoy the concert despite not dressing up, not making bracelets, not exchanging bracelets, not taking photos or videos, not having anyone to sing the songs with. But that was ruined again because he kept making negative comments on how the Swifties were dressing up, especially the male Swifties. He reacted angrily after I reminded him not to be judgmental and let people have their fun. A few days later, I decided to redeem my Eras Tour experience one last time by buying some merch for memories. I informed my husband so he'd know. The queue took hours. Commute home was terrible because of traffic, and I ended up reaching home really late. Throughout the entire time, I sent him photos to update him about my whereabouts. I got us both dinner since there was no time to cook. Once I reached home, he snatched the food angrily, asked why I took so long to reach home. I explained the situation and he kept accusing me of lying. He insisted I reached home late because I was going out and having fun. We argued so long, all the way until 4 a.m., because I was trying to prove my innocence. I waited 18 years to be able to afford and experience my first Taylor Swift concert. I can't even recall the actual concert experience anymore because it's tainted by all the arguments. This is not the first time he tried to ruin a fun experience for me. He has done this during vacations, during the Barbie movie, during big celebratory moments for me, and I'm exhausted of having happy memories ruined. As I have been doing more of these stories and sharing stories from TikTok, sharing stories from women, we are coming to understand that this is what narcissists do. It's not about the actual Taylor Swift concert. If you are not a Swiftie, I understand, but that's not it. These narcs ruin moments for people, whether it's ruining their birthdays, ruining holidays. Matter of fact, back in May, Mother's Day, I had shared a video of this woman whose Mother's Day was ruined by her husband. If you weren't on my page at that point in time, this woman made a video after her Mother's Day was ruined, all because she wore a dress. And her husband, he seemed okay with it. But once they got to the restaurant, he was arguing with her, calling her an SULT, saying negative words to her, and completely ruined Mother's Day for her. Eventually, she showed us what the dress looked like. This dress looks completely mother appropriate, is not excessive, but the dress isn't the issue. Taylor Swift isn't the issue. Bracelets aren't the issue. When people are narcs, they want to ruin your experience. And sometimes, we have got to like highlight it so that other people can see themselves in some of these situations because for some reason, it doesn't click until you see it through other people's eyes. Now, for some of the comments on the other post. Oh, by the way, this woman was able to get away from her narc. It was a whole thing where the community came together. We were talking on her TikTok page. We were talking on my page. Lots of people were sharing this, but this woman had a GoFundMe. She eventually escaped her abusive man, and now she's living back in her hometown. Okay, back to these comments. Someone asked, OP, are you safe? And she said, Had another argument just hours before this. Both of us are shouting, me ugly crying. In that moment, I was truly afraid for my safety. The way his tone, voice, and expression changes when enraged is bone chilling. Things have settled down now, but who knows when he'll get triggered over something mundane again. Okay, so she gives us more information here. She says he has historically threatened to beat me a couple of times. One of the things he loves to do when an argument escalates is to repeatedly hit his head against the wall or threaten to take himself out. During our vacation in a mountain range, he threatened to crash the car off of the winding roads. During the Eras Tour mantram, he threatened to divorce. When I responded by saying that I will actually file for divorce on the spot, he said something along the lines of, how about you self delete right now? If I tell you to self delete, will you do it? If not, why are you taking what I say literally? It's not the first time he said that. It's been said many times in previous arguments, too. I'm not sure if that's considered a violent threat, but the tone it was delivered in made me afraid that he will really do something. Till this day, I keep imagining scenarios where he will find some way to take me out or injure me, push me out of the apartment window, throw hot water on me, use the kitchen knife, or suffocate me while I'm asleep. Why? How? I don't understand. I don't understand how someone can type these things and not just type. If you type this out, me just reading this, I'm like, this is a scary movie. She needs to run. But she is still in this marriage. Okay. And everybody is in the comments saying leave, divorce, basically. You need to leave him before he escalates further and don't tell him till you're gone and expect him to make the divorce process as difficult as possible for no good reason. I'm sorry you're in that situation. Ladies, we have got to get to the point where we put our survival instincts to the front. Stop worrying so much about their their emotions and think about survival. Somebody that is in this state of mind is not safe. I don't, yeah, this is not safe. And yeah, if you're in this type of situation and you can type up some things like that woman just typed up, you have got to make a plan. You've got to get authorities involved. You've got to get your family involved. You got to get somebody, the barista up the street, you got to get somebody involved and work on a plan to extricate yourself from this situation. There's no need for me to do all of these comments. Most of them are saying get away or asking her questions, and her answers are terrifying. Nothing about this situation is good. And I wanted to bring it to you guys. So if you ever see yourself in this situation where your partner is ruining your birthday, your vacation, holidays, your graduation, anything that can't be salvaged, like, you're going to the movie. Eventually, you can go back to the movies, but you cannot redo your graduation. You cannot redo your 40th birthday, something like that. If you're with somebody that is ruining your moments on purpose, you need to get away from that person. That person is not safe for you to be with. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Okay, this is another important discussion that we should have. So she's 30 and her partner is 37. She says, do I have to tolerate apologies from my partner when they're given angrily? She says, hi, all. The title says it best, but I will add some quick background. My husband has some serious issues with his anger, and the hardest part for me is that I genuinely don't know when to expect it. I work a full time job and I'm the breadwinner by a significant margin. We do not have children. I love to cook, so I do all the cooking. I also do all the cleaning. I work very, very hard to give him an incredibly safe space and ask very little in return. I do this somewhat selfishly because asking him for help is very, very difficult. If I ask him to do something small on a day he decides not to go to work, say replacing our shower filter or vacuuming the living room, he gives these huge, exaggerated sighs and makes some sort of complaint. It is usually enough for me to say, never mind, and deal with it myself. However, today I had a very busy day. A family friend passed, and I offered to take over some of the planning on top of my full time job. So when he mentioned he was staying home and didn't know what he was going to do today, I saw it as an opportunity to get some help. I asked if he could, get ready for this, clean the cat's litter box. He sighed heavily, and I tried to gently remind him that I did it last, and he made a snide comment of, I guess, but I do it most of the time. He is right. He has two things he usually does that I do not. One is taking the trash cans to the street, and the other is taking care of his cat. I have a dog and a puppy I'm responsible for, so I finally said, it is really frustrating to be met with that kind of comment when asking for help. It also makes me feel a bit invisible for all that I do. And he completely lost his temper. He stomped his feet, left the room multiple times, raised his voice, and told me that he obviously didn't mean to hurt my feelings and that I was taking it personally. I was not taking it personally. It hurt on a personal level. It's also not the first or even the 100th time it's happened. But to get back to the real point, the real question, when he throws things back at me and raises his voice or throws something and then yells, geez, I'm sorry, can it just be done already? Why does he think that is an apology? Do I need to accept that it just never feels genuine to hear I'm sorry in an angry and often blaming tone? I have said this, and he just doubles down. What can I say to him to make him recognize that not only was it truly frustrating to kindly ask for help and be met with a bad attitude, but that an apology while you're still having that bad attitude isn't something I want to accept. I've accepted them for so long because I really don't like to linger in a negative space. But after so many years, I'm starting to feel very over it. I'd love to be able to have conversations with my partner about things that hurt our feelings so they do not just happen over and over again. Thanks for any input or suggestions or even any personal experience on the subject. He's not sincere. He's not apologetic. He's just saying some words. The end. And if this keeps happening over and over without any change in his behavior, then you need to leave. I know that I keep saying you need to leave to people, but this is not productive, is not a productive way to live, and this is not a partner. When women refer to their spouses as a partner, that's not truly a partner. It's like words have meaning. He is not really participating in life with this woman. He's not being supportive of this woman. He's not taking some of the load off of this woman. So is he really a partner? I say absolutely not. He doesn't mean it. He wants to be mean. He wants to not do much, but still have the comforts of a home. So I say leave. There's nothing that's going to come good of this. I'm totally sure most of the comments will be along the same vein as me. I just took some screenshots before reading them, but let's read a few. This person says, why are you with this man? It sounds like he brings nothing to the table but a cat he barely takes care of. I'm not the one to jump to divorce as a solution, but girl, you wrote this whole thing and really don't see the solution. Let him take himself to the curb because he is rubbish. This person says, you're bending over backwards to kiss this man's butt, and he has the audacity to be mad when you ask him to take care of his own cat. And it sounds like he frequently calls off work. Wonder how long he's going to be employed. Just out of curiosity, what exactly does he bring to this table of this partnership? This person says your husband is emotionally abusive. He does nothing in the relationship. He uses anger and passive aggressive behavior to avoid accountability. I have no idea why you married him or why you're staying with him. Wow, just curious, how are all the bills handled in this slave contract of a marriage? I don't even think counseling would do anything in this situation. I would be just secondhand sorry for you if you happen to stay with this man. This person says, you two are stuck in a pattern that you both created, so it's going to take work from both of you to change it. That's first, and a problem because he's good with how things are. Hate to give the typical answer, but I believe if you really want more and better out of this relationship, then it's time for couples therapy. This is a pretty deeply entrenched pattern that you both created. This person says, sorry, you're in this unpleasant situation. In your position, I'd give up trying to work with him. People who say these things aren't appreciative or loving, and they don't think they should have to change. You are miles above him, and I hope you are starting to plan your departure. Don't tell him yet. This person says, no, it's not genuine. In fact, all of his behaviors are very immature, from his complacency to passive aggression to outright intimidation when he can't get his way. All sounds like a baby. You should be over it. You matter. It's not all about him. A lot of these people, because of social media, we're telling a lot of these people that you deserve better. You need to leave. You need to leave. If men don't change their behaviors, this crisis of loneliness is going to continue because many of these women in these situations are able to carry a household financially. Now, once we get the mental well being to catch up with the financial well being, women are going to be unstoppable. But we have got to be okay with putting our mental health at the forefront. And I will keep saying this is not mentally healthy. This is not good for her in the long run in any capacity. It's stressful, and this is not a way to live for any particular amount of time. So, my suggestion is leave. But you guys can go ahead and weigh in. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We are in find out season, and many times when these men ask for something and they get what they actually ask for, they get upset about it. That seems to be the case with this Reddit thread. She is 21, he's 26. She says, my boyfriend is mad at me for agreeing to a threesome, which he has been asking for since the beginning of our relationship. All right. She says, my boyfriend and I have been dating for a little over 3 months and has been going well until this situation took place. He found out I was bisexual when we started dating, and he expressed interest in having a threesome one day, and I was always open to it. Recently, he started mentioning it more, and about 2 weeks ago, we had a talk, and he told me that he wanted to try the threesome as soon as I was ready. I told him I was ready as long as we both liked the girl and were both comfortable with her. He said I should invite one of my bi friends, and I explained that I'm not comfortable with doing it with someone that I was already friends with. I suggested instead that we invite this 23-year-old girl who I used to talk to before we started dating. I suggested her since she had texted me earlier that week to see how I was doing. We hadn't talked since I started dating my boyfriend. And I remember telling her once that one time she had partook in a threesome in the past and would want to do one with me as well if we ever dated. I explained to him everything about how me and this girl knew each other, and even started showing him our text so he would feel comfortable. But he said he didn't want to see those. He just wanted to see the pictures of her, which I showed him, and he found her very attractive. So he wanted her to be our third. I asked her if she was interested, and she agreed. So we planned to meet up in the bar to get to know each other, and depending on how she felt, we could do the threesome that same night. My boyfriend was so excited he couldn't stop talking about it. We met up at the bar that the night and we agreed, and it was going well. She seemed comfortable and was very chatty and flirty with us, but maybe talked to me a bit more. Things escalated, and soon my boyfriend was driving us to his apartment. When we got there, we started fooling around, and I was really into it, and so was the girl and my boyfriend at first. I didn't realize my boyfriend was giving the girl a lot of attention, and she wasn't really reciprocating it and was more focused on me. I tried to not let it bother me because I didn't know what the dynamics of a threesome usually were. I soon realized my boyfriend wasn't enjoying himself that much anymore, so I tried to focus most of my attention on him, but he was not really paying much attention to that and was still giving most of the attention to the girl. Soon after, I was no longer enjoying it, seeing that my boyfriend wasn't having fun anymore. So things started to slow down and things became awkward. So eventually the girl called someone to pick her up. I tried talking to my boyfriend because I could see that he was unhappy. He wasn't talking much to me, so I went and showered and stuff since I planned to stay the night. And when I came back to sit on the bed, he told me that I should go home. All right, soon after we started arguing, and eventually he started telling me I shouldn't have agreed to the threesome, which is extremely confusing to me because he asked in the first place. I can understand him being annoyed that things didn't go as smoothly as he wanted, but to blame me for agreeing to it makes no sense to me. I started getting really upset with him, and he kept telling me to leave, so eventually I did. Now I haven't heard from him in almost 4 days. I'm feeling extremely guilty about the whole thing and wondering if I should have just never agreed to this threesome thing in the first place. What can I do to get him to talk to me again? Girl, it's been 3 months. You don't need to talk to him again. He's passive aggressive. He asked you for something, got it, and now he's mad at you. He should be mad at himself. He has an issue with taking responsibility for his own action. This has been 3 months in. This is not worth salvaging. Girl, please run. Please run. This is another situation where another woman is putting um, his feelings above her own. He asked for this, he got it, now he's mad. He is mad at the wrong person. He should be focusing his attention on his own judgment, but he doesn't want to take responsibility for what he asked for, so he's mad at her. Because getting mad at yourself, I guess, is a bad thing. That's what I say. Passive aggressive, mean spirited for no particular reason. He's taking his issues out on her. Y'all can weigh in. Let's see what some of the comments. This person says, going to guess that his image of a threesome in his mind was two girls worshiping him, and when it didn't pan out that way, he sulked and threw a tantrum. Honestly, I'm not sure why you'd want to talk to him. I'm not sure why you'd want him to talk to you again. Him throwing it in your face like that was transparently unfair, and I worry that if you try to downplay it, you set a horrible precedent of him taking out his anger on you anytime he's upset. His silly corn fantasy backfired. It was never about you or your enjoyment. It was all about him, and now he's holding that against you, and that is just genuinely pathetic. This person says, ding, 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 winner. Honestly, that is a winner. I don't really need to do any more of the comments because that person just summed everything up that I was wanting to say. You guys can go ahead and weigh in. Oh, I do have more to say because some people said some things and then the OP weighed in. So this person says he's probably mad because he had an unrealistic expectation. Probably. Okay. So then she starts she says, you are probably right, but in a way I feel guilty still because maybe I also could have seen the girl was more into me from the beginning or that she was more comfortable with me from knowing me before. I maybe should have had my boyfriend text the girl so they could have gotten better acquainted with each other. I just hate that is what might end my relationship, even if it's not necessarily my fault. See, she's still living in Delulu land. She wants to salvage a 3 month relationship with a passive aggressive person that's going to continue to not take responsibility for his own actions. And I'm not sure, let's see, how old was this girl? She's just 21. She's 21. She's still young. Her frontal lobe is still developing. Friend of this girl, please extricate her from this situation. She needs to detox from this man. Whatever he put on her in that 3 months was very, very strong. She needs to be plucked out of this situation because this is not healthy. You guys, now I'm going to end it. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Like, comment, share. Got a discussion question in the Am I the A-hole thread. She says, am I the A-hole for taking my grandchildren to Disney for the first time without their mother and refusing to apologize when confronted? My son made this account and asked me to post this story because he claims my normal meter is skewed and the internet is going to tell me I am an a-hole. I recently babysat my grandchildren, 5 and 4, for a period of 4 nights and 5 days, so my son and his wife could attend a wedding in Mexico and spend a few days on vacation. They approached me since her mother would not be available, and initially I said I wasn't comfortable with that. It seemed like a long time to watch the kids, and she has point blank told me that the woman's family is more important than the man's. So I was irritated. I was being asked and not her mother. I will admit that I did give in when my son became very emotional, but I feel like they were being manipulative. While I had the kids, I was invited to a birthday at Epcot and wanted to go. It didn't even occur to me to run it by my son or daughter in law, as I had the kids for an extended period of time, and obviously they knew they would be going where I went. My daughter in law had previously mentioned wanting to save up for Disney, but she said that about a lot of things and never made me aware that it was something super special to her. Also, it was Epcot. It's not like I took them to the Magic Kingdom and they had some magical moment of seeing their favorite character. When they returned and found out my daughter when they returned and found out my daughter-in-law was furious and burst into tears. She said I stole one of her kids first and called me entitled. To be honest, I didn't react well to being called entitled when she was the one who had previously demanded babysitting. My son asked me to apologize as she was distraught over missing their first Disney trip, but I declined and asked them to leave. My son reached out again and said I should have asked for something that big, and his wife feels robbed. I know she is a huge Disney person, but it was Epcot, not the quintessential Disney, and I don't feel I should have had to miss out on a birthday party that I wanted to attend. I told my son I am not apologizing for anything, and maybe they should think about how they made me feel when they didn't respect my initial no. My son feels like Reddit is going to show me the error of my ways. I have not gone through all of these comments. There are over 6,000 of them. People must have felt a way. This person says, I hope your son feels humbled here today, not the a hole. They imposed on you to watch their children. You did exactly as they requested. You've done nothing wrong. You are not responsible for your rude daughter in law crying. Tears don't make a person right. The only entitled behavior is your son and daughter in law. They guilted you into accepting something you expressed you were not comfortable with, and then got upset in how you took care of their children for them. You shouldn't have had to forego your plans because they did not secure childcare before going on vacation. Again, you've done nothing wrong. She deserves no apology. She can pout and whine all she wants. She was the one who put you in an uncomfortable situation. She never said not to go there, and you're not an effing mind reader. Next time they ask for something like this, tell them you can't deal with the negative reaction of your daughter in law and aren't willing to subject yourself to her behavior. Very much not the a hole. Daughter in law is being selfish, in my opinion. When my kids' grandparents, either side, have provided my kids opportunities to experience cool things, I've been really grateful for that. One, my kids get to do those things, and two, my kids get to make wonderful memories with their grandparents that they will cherish their entire lives. My kids have amazing memories of their grandparents leading them on fun adventures to theme parks and historical places. Some of them I would have liked to go to, but that's a separate issue from my kids getting to go. The most important part, one of those grandparents has now passed. Okay, now she's just talking about herself. I'll skip to the bottom. Daughter-in-law needs to get over herself and realize that her kids are separate people from her. Their experiences don't always need to be about her experiences. I think that that is one of the issues that parents have. They think that their kids are an extension of themselves. They think that their kids should always feel what they feel or experience what they experience. And that is not how life works. They're separate humans. They will experience different things. I also don't believe that this grandmother is an a hole. This person says, I so love this comment. I feel the same. It is super important to let children enjoy their grandparents because there is no other relationship like a loving grandparent. And unfortunately, sometimes they pass when the child is young. Also, unpopular opinion here, I don't understand the stupid thinking of needing to experience all of the first times with your child. They are their own person and it's impossible to do so. Cherish all the time you have with your children, but let them enjoy life afar from yourself. This person says you'd be shocked on parenting forums how obsessive parents get about their first. My mother-in-law is horrible. She was watching my baby and let her try carrots. But I am her mom and wanted to be the first to give her carrots. I genuinely find it quite bizarre. Same, sometimes I won't get to experience everything my children have experienced and vice versa. That is life and it is okay. But I would like for you guys to weigh in. Let me know what you think about this one. I'm not going to do all of these comments. I'm not going to read all of these comments, but I don't think that she's the a hole for this one. Y'all jump in. Let me know. Like, comment, share.